This is Jbarletta. This is my second speech performing a task. Alright, today I'm going to show you guys how to make brownies. Now brownies are very easy to make dessert. For a night it'll only take an hour or so to make, depending on which brand of brownies you make. There's many different types of brand. There's Betty Crocker, Ghirardelli, and then there's many different store brands depending on the store you go to. Now usually when you're making brownies out of a box like this, there's really only three main ingredients you need. It's usually an egg, water, and vegetable oil. Now to obtain these three ingredients, all you really need to do is go to the same grocery store that you got the box of brownies from. It doesn't matter the type of eggs you buy, it doesn't matter the grade, the size of them or anything, just your typical eggs that you buy from the store. Any type of vegetable or canola oil will work for these, not olive oil, nothing like that. That will completely mess them up. And then you just need water, which you can just get out of a sink or anything in your fridge, depending on where you get your water from. Alright, now the first thing you do when making brownies is you obviously get the box of brownies. And when you're making them, you just have to take them out of the bag. Cut the bag open and pour the brownies into the bowl. Now before you do this though, you're going to want to preheat your oven depending on the temperature that the box tells you to. For Ghirardelli it's 325 degrees, which only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to preheat to. Now after you get the powder poured into your bowl, you're going to want to add your 1/4 cup of water, which is easy. Before I did this, I just poured the water into the cup. So you add that. And after that, you're going to want to pour your vegetable oil, 1/3 of a cup of this. Just pour it into a measuring cup real quick. Just going to eyeball that before I pour it in. Don't want to pour in too much or too little. That's good. And then after you get these two ingredients in, I kind of like to just stir them up to get it all separated. And then after that, you add your eggs. Now what I like to do when adding eggs is I like to put them into a measuring cup and then beat them up, because if you pour the egg right into the mixing bowl, it takes more time to stir up the brownies because you have to like separate the egg and beat it out within the bowl, which if you beat them out in this, it'll take much less time when you put it into the mixing bowl. And make sure you don't get any shells in your mixing cup because no one wants that surprise when they're eating your brownies. Beat this up real quick. Only takes a few seconds to do this. And just go ahead and put it in your mixing bowl. Like so. And these are really the three main ingredients you need for your brownies. Now, you're going to mix these up until it's really more of a paste, brown paste. You don't want to have any powder left over in your thing, but you also don't want it to look like too much of a liquid. You may have added too much water or oil if it looks that way. It only takes about a couple minutes to mix these up. Now when you place it in the oven, most of these brownie, or the companies that make these, say to put them in the oven for about 40 or 30 minutes. Now, anytime I've made brownies, it's never taken that long. I don't know if it's the oven that we personally own, or if it's the company lying, but it usually only takes 20 minutes whenever I've made brownies. So you're kind of going to want to eyeball them when you put them in the oven, because if you leave them in for too long, I mean, no one's going to want to eat them because they'll just be hockey pucks. No one wants to eat a hockey puck. Alright, and then the best way to prepare to cook these brownies is to place them in you can do an 8x8 pan, a 9x9 pan, or a 14x9 pan, I believe. I'm using a 9x9 pan right here. Now, most people probably do not put foil in their pan, but I've always grown up that way because it's easier to take the brownies out of the pan to eat them, and obviously it makes less of a mess, and it's one less dish that you have to clean. Now, even with the foil in there, you want to spray in some Pam or put in some oil in there and rub that all over the surface, which I did right before I started this. And then you just want to pour your brownies into here after you make sure they're mixed up all the way. Just want to get everything you can out of here. Almost done. Sorry about this. Alright, when you get all of the mix out of the bowl, you want to make sure it's evened out, because you want them to cook flat. You don't want them to be not flat, because they won't come out right when they're baking. Alright, and all you need to do after you get them mixed in like this and into the pan is place them in the oven. Now, like I said, it only takes about 20 minutes for this brand of brownies to cook, but depending on the brand you use, it could take up to 30 or 40 minutes. And after 20 minutes, you just take them out of the oven and you wait about 5 to 10 minutes for them to cool off, and then you enjoy them. And that is how you make brownies.